Hi everybody, how are we? Hope you've been well. Long time. Back again, so I'm just gonna cruise in like I never left. How has everybody been? It's actually August, can you believe it? So I think the last video I did was probably towards the end of June, and I haven't been here for a month. And obviously July is halfway. Okay, so July is halfway through the year. It's also financial year. Just so many things tend to happen in the month of July. And not to complain, but obviously life has happened, life has been happening, and life has to happen. So I've been MIA, missing in action. Fill me in if I've missed the most important things in the world of YouTube. However, I'm well and I cannot complain. So obviously the ups and downs of life, and like we say, they are lessons. So we can't quite just sit down and look at the ups and enjoy the ups and not really learn something from the downs. So many things happened in the month of July. Yes, I might have been MIA, but a lot of great things have happened, and I'm here to share those with you. So I would really love if you can share down at the bottom, of this video. Just comment for me, or leave a comment down below and let me know what are the things that you're grateful for the last 6 months, because we are halfway through the year and it's always great. I've done a video on gratitude. I'll put a screenshot here. If you haven't watched it yet, please go and watch it. And it's always something great to remind you. I mean, the art, and I call it the art, yeah, it is really the art, or just a habit of having to sit down and think of all the great things that have happened to or have come around for you, and be grateful for them, or be grateful for the people around you, people who've been there for you in your ups and downs, people who are always in your life. We sometimes can take that for granted, but it's actually something great to be grateful for. So I am grateful because on the 5th of July, I actually turned 10 years. So I marked a decade since I came to Australia. So it actually was interesting because I remembered it around June and then I forgot it. When it came to July, when it came to the actual date, I remembered a week later, which was very funny because I really would have wanted to do something special on the day. But basically I came to Australia in 2013, on July 5th, and it just feels like just the other day. It is a choice that I made that I wasn't sure whether it's the right choice at the time, but I feel like sometimes you cannot know until you jump. You're not going to know what's on the other side of the bridge until you cross it. You're not going to know what is on the other side of the fence unless you jump. So basically, that's what I did 10 years ago. And here I am, and I cannot regret. I don't have any regrets. I do have a lot of lessons. I do have a lot of lessons. However, because I'm marking my 10th year, I'm gonna, I wrote down 10 lessons that I learned. So while being in Sydney, so a lesson every year, right? This is gonna be interesting, guys. So grab your seat and spend this couple of minutes with me, and let me share with you what my lessons has been for the last 10 years. So I'll be with you shortly. See you in a bit. Welcome back, and if it's your first time here, I'm Akonso Kijo. So thank you so much for popping in here. I cannot take it for granted, and I appreciate you bumping into one of my videos or even stopping by to say hello. So thank you so much for everybody who's been supporting this this channel. We are at 370 people that I value so much. Thank you so much for each one of you who've given me feedback over the years, who've always supported me, who've told me to talk about or to answer a couple of your questions based on the journey and based on some of the things that I talk about on this channel. So just for you who are here for the first time, my name is Akonso Kijo, and I originally I live in Sydney, Australia, and I originally came here from Kenya, East Africa. So I came here as an international student, no longer a student now. However, all Matters international students are still matters that are dear to my heart, and so this is one thing that I endeavor to do for a long time to come. So basically, I come on here and I share some of those, experiences that I had when I was a student. I've been in this country for 10 years now, and it has been the most beautiful 10 years. I really cannot change anything. The ups, the downs, they were all very pivotal in shaping the person that I am today and the journey that I'm on. It really has been inspired by that journey, but also by the dreams that I had coming into this country and the things that I hoped to achieve. I would say that I have actually achieved all of them. And I would also give that to the major thanks to God. I'm a strong believer of God, because I do believe there's so many things that have happened in my life that I really have no business taking credit for. Because some of them I really don't even know how I got through them, but I did. And that in and of itself reminds me that I'm not here on this earth by myself. I cannot take credit for anything. Yes, I have worked hard. I have had to make a lot of sacrifices and go through a lot of hurdles. However, they have really made the person I am today. So the person you see today I wasn't born this way. I have become, and I'm still becoming. So I said that I'm gonna come on here, and so this is Inspire YG, and like I said, it's an initiative that I started. YG is an acronym for Young Generation, and I started this when I was at uni, when I thought that I need to give back to the international student community just by sharing some of the experiences that I had, in case a person is on the same journey and they can skip some hurdles or can learn from my mistakes or from my challenges and then move from there. So it's basically just me not being an expert of anything in life, but being an expert of my own life experiences and on my own personal journey, and hoping that I can help or share some of that information that has worked for me along the way, if somebody want to pick that up as they go on their own journey. So basically, like I said, I've been in this country for 10 years now, and I just marked 10 years last month in July. So I landed in Sydney on July 5th, 2013. It feels like just the other day, but it's actually 10 years ago. And voila, we're here. So if you're planning to do something and it's going to take 10 years, trust you me, 10 years is like a blink of an eye. Please go for it. 10 years is nothing. So basically, I'm gonna sit down here and I'm gonna share a lesson every year. So 10 lessons that I learned over those 10 years that I've been in Australia. So the first, and I'll just quickly jump into it. So the 2013, what I learned, and I wrote it down, so I'm gonna read it as I wrote it. Being alone doesn't mean loneliness. It can mean discovering yourself, finding your purpose in life, and finding your sense of belonging in others and in yourself. And eventually finding that sense of belonging in yourself. Learning about my own heritage through my journey of figuring who I am in a different country. Studying with other international students from different backgrounds who spoke different languages from myself and who had different religion, different spirituality, and had a completely different upbringing. So basically, 2013, obviously, I've stated it's the first year that I came to Australia, and I had not known much about Australia apart from what I had seen on Home and Away and Neighbours. Neighbours. Oh, everybody needs a good neighbor. I used to really give my mother a hard time because I had to watch Neighbours. And the thing about Kenya, we had Neighbours in a station called KTN, and then we had Home and Away in a station called NTV. And they used to air 1 hour following each other straight after I come from school. And so I gave my mother a hard time because I don't want to change my uniform because I'm missing out on Home and Away. And when I go and take a shower, I'm going to miss out on Neighbours. So it was just, it was a challenge. But I just used to find that I didn't know much about Australia. And basically all I saw was beautiful people cruising down the beach, like they're going to school or they're going to work, but they're walking on the shores. And I would be like, wow, this country is beautiful. But other than that, I didn't know much about Australia. I didn't study history in school, and I didn't study nothing about, and even though I did geography, I really still did not know much about the continent that is Australia. However, this is a country that I landed. It's a story of another day, and actually I think I've spoken about that somewhere. I'll put a screenshot, or actually, better yet, please watch my previous videos and you're going to learn much about how I came to Australia. However, what 2013 taught me was I was always used to being around people, and I loved community. I was part of my youth group in Kenya, and I was always walking around with people, young people, trying to create things, trying to be there for the community and things like that. Yes, I've always been a loner. I've always loved my space. However, I also love people. But so the challenge I had when I came to Sydney was the one I couldn't really I couldn't fit in. It's just a lot. There was a Kenyan community. There were other many communities because Sydney is a very multicultural city. However, it was just hard for me to be able to fit in because of everything else I was trying to do. I was juggling studies, I was juggling part-time jobs, I was still trying to figure out what to do in terms of my career, and I was still trying to make friends. I was still trying to figure out the whole journey of homesickness and being alone and being far away from home and figuring out the country that I've just come in, their culture and way of life, and it was just too much. So 2013 for me was a bit of a challenge, but I feel like through going those hurdles, I came to find out who I am. 2014, studying with Australians for the first time, another international student from European background. This was the first time I was studying at TAFE, and when I came, and I've done a video about that, please watch previous videos for that information, for that story. But I did not study with an Australian until I was here for like almost 6 months. So the first school I went to, they only had international students in the classrooms. And so when I proceeded to my diploma level is when I actually met Australians and other people from European background. And that was also the first time I ever faced discrimination in terms of being awarded different marks, in exams, in essays and reports. And me having to question that, me having to ask, why am I in a group assignment, but I get lower grade than my colleagues or my classmates. And so that was the first time I faced discrimination, and I had to fight back, and I had to go and ask questions that were difficult, had difficult, uncomfortable conversations when it is in a situation where you can feel inferior because you're feeling first and foremost, I was only 24, and I'm thinking I'm just a girl from Kenya. How am I going to challenge this teacher who is obviously Australian and other classmates who are not? So it was just me feeling like I'm alone, but I'm having to fight for myself. And I did it, and I've done a video on that. But those are some of the things that I went through, trying to fight to survive and to thrive at the same time, but also fighting against stereotypes. And what I realized is that not many people have lived their entire life with a lot of bias, with a lot of stereotypes, and just thinking, oh, people who look a certain type of way do not perform or are not good in school, or just things like that. Trying to challenge those kind of biases was not easy, but it's something that I learned very quickly that I had to do, because I knew that I was here to stay and I was here to achieve my goals as a young woman and as a young adult coming up. But I knew that there were so many things that I was gonna have to power through, but they were not gonna be easy. They were gonna be uncomfortable conversations, uncomfortable discussions, but they were meant to happen because they taught me so much about myself, and they taught me so much about the strength that I had within me. 2015, I joined the university. So I left college, I joined the university. It's also the year that I decided to change my course. It was such a culture shock to come from a small institution to a massive university, because then there it's just hard. You go to lectures, you can barely get time to speak to the lecturer because there are like thousands, like I don't know, hundreds of students. You go to tutorials. This is supposed to be, smaller kind of classroom setups, but it's still different, not like college. And exams and studies are a bit more now difficult, or at least they get more advanced than they were at college. And so in as much as the English language wasn't harder for me, being able to maneuver through the education system in Australia and how things are done, how essays are written, how the English language can be different here than it is in Kenya, in terms of just different things like pronunciation as well, but also the spelling of stuff. And I've done a video on spellings when I was talking about writing resumes. It's small things like that that really were a challenge for me. But it's also at the university that I learned that I'm a minority. At the university is when it hit me, oh my God, I'm not even talking about Africans. I cannot see any other people who could identify as people from CALD background. By CALD background, I mean culturally, linguistic, diverse background. So people who've come from another country and they've come here as students. So I could not see a lot of international students. And it's like a picture, you are in Kenya. Obviously Kenya, there are many Kenyans because it's Kenya. And then you have come from Australia and you're studying there. So chances are you probably be, like the ratio will be 1 to 90. Like it's basically just you and other 90 Kenyans. That's basically how it feels how it felt in my class. Before I came to find out that there were other students who were international. So the life 2015, the lesson, also trying to balance the uni life, because I had uni, I had studies, I had part-time jobs, and I had to make time for social life, which basically was non-existent. At some point, I used to think that most of my classmates must have thought I was antisocial, or I didn't want to spend time with them, but I just used to wonder, I just used to hope that they understand the kind of life that I led, or maybe people in my position led, where they probably could have, they could have probably had a loan from the government or whatever to study, where us as international students, we had to pay the school fees upfront. Now, in as much as you give a bank statement when you come into Australia and everything, that doesn't mean that life stays stagnant or life stays mellow, like where you come from. Things could happen and your school fees could be used, or anything could happen, but you cannot compare having an opportunity to study and then pay your school fees after you're paid, after you finish school, get a job and then get paid, to you having to foot the whole school fees at once. So life was really tough at uni. I still look back and wonder how I survived. Sometimes because I could sleep only 3 hours within 24 hours. I had to wake up early, go to uni, then go to work, then go to another shift, and then come home. And sometimes I slept through the trains. I would get onto the train, I would put an alarm to wake me up. Otherwise, I would end up in the next station or at the end of the train ride. So it was really tough. I don't know how I survived, but I think I did. I'm very sure I did. And a lot of international students had to go through that and even more. 2016, I started engaging with the university's activities, mainly volunteering opportunities. So I've done a video on volunteering opportunities. I'll put a screenshot here, and you can learn more about some of what are the opportunities that are out there from volunteering, which are humongous. It's really, I could not recommend it enough. And I also got my first scholarship. I joined I auditioned for the university's choir. I got in, thank God, and I got a scholarship for that. That really helped me a lot, especially buying textbooks, which were a bit expensive, and just supporting me through uni. And I was in the choir for almost 1.5 years. And second semester, first placement was my toughest, because now I had to go for placement, which is like an internship, but you work and you're not paid because you're supposed to get work experience. So it was the toughest, because work experience is part of your curriculum. If you do not finish your work experience, your course incomplete. So basically, you have to find, as an international student, I had to find time to study, to go to uni, to do well and attend tutorials, which were compulsory, and then I had to find time to go for this work internship placement, which counted as my coursework. So I really was having a hard time. I really stressed a lot in 2016 second semester. However, I survived and I'm here. 2017, I actually decided to heavily apply for scholarships, because I realized that I was struggling, but I also realized that those opportunities were there, and I started taking advantage of them. So I did apply for my first international scholarship, which meant that I got a scholarship to go to Rome, Italy. I've done a video on my story, or my journey going to Italy for a prerequisite unit, to do a unit that was compulsory, but I did it in Rome. And it's also in that year that I received the Young Achiever Award of the Year award by Celebrate African Australian Award. So it motivated me a lot to know that, look, volunteer opportunities are there, and I'm doing something to contribute to the wider Australian community. But also I'm learning a lot about the culture that I'm living in, or the culture that I'm moved into. And I'm trying to see how I can actually not just integrate into the community, but also how I can apply my culture and my learnings and experiences and talents and gifts to the wider Australian community. So it was really a nice experience visiting Rome. I've done a video, like I said, you can watch that video and learn more about how that journey was. My lesson or highlight of 2018 was I decided to visit Europe. So I had made a couple of friends, and one of those friends was Jacqueline, my friend, who blessed me and made me a godmother. So something that I'm really, really proud of. So I packed up my bags and I saved up some money and I went to Germany. So I visited Germany, we went to Holland, to Amsterdam, then I went to Dubai with my mom, and that all happened for the first time, and I was traveling on a Kenyan visa. So, on a Kenyan passport. So that's also something else to say and mention, that if you have a Kenyan passport, don't feel like you cannot travel around the world, because I know there's fear of a lot of things. There's fear to travel alone, there's fear of racism, there's fear of discrimination. Yes, you can face those kind of things. Every country that has people who have those kind of behaviors has people who are really nice. And it's really a characteristic, it's a personal character, it's a character. It's not a country. There's no country that will make you feel left out, isolated, or racist. It's the people in it that choose that kind of behavior. So I do not think that I can make a choice to not visit a certain country, to not be a certain place because of that, because that is limiting myself. So I encourage you to travel. And I did it, and that 2018 as well, I did apply for, I got invited as a delegate at the UN headquarters in Bangkok. I love the UN. I love the United Nations. I love what they do. I love everything about what they stand for. And I know there's obviously propaganda and a lot of things stating that every institution have got things that they can do better or they can improve on. But I think so far what they're doing is actually great, and I'm inspired by that. I'm inspired by their sustainable goals, and those actually inspired my foundation, Hakiki Foundation, that I'll talk about later. So so I got to go to Bangkok in 2018, and I came back and I got another scholarship that actually supported me a lot when I was on my final placement in the last semester of 2018. So please, if you haven't watched the video on I think I haven't done a video on scholarships. I will do a video on scholarships and how I applied for them. I will find out after this video if I've actually done, and I will link up somewhere. I will link it up somewhere. 2019, finally, I graduated, and I was so pleased to have my mom and my niece here for my graduation. Unfortunately, it's also the year that took my grandma from me, and I still miss that woman so much. She was one of my best friends. I learned so much from her resilience, her hard work, her social work, her passion for the community, her passion for service, her passion for God. I learned so much from my grandma. So may her soul rest in peace. And I went home that year, and I came back just before the pandemic hit. And obviously, life was never the same. So 2020, it was supposed to be a very tough year. Obviously, the pandemic has happened, what have you. I'm trying to find a job, mind you, because now I'm out of student visa and I'm just going into 485 visa, which is called the graduate visa. The graduate visa allows you to get some type of work experience straight after you finish your uni. And sometimes it's sheer luck that you get a job. Sometimes you struggle, sometimes you don't get the kind of job that you want. But I was blessed enough to get the kind of job that I wanted. So I started that job in March 2020, and I was there through the tough times of the pandemic. It was one of the toughest times. I was there between March 2020 until last year, August. So that was a job that I really loved. It taught me so much about resilience, taught me so much about selflessness, being there for people in their most toughest times, but also being there for yourself in the most toughest time. When you're supporting others, you tend to forget yourself. So I loved that. It was also the year that I learned so much about adversity. So 2021, I received a very surprising award, which was the ACU International Contribution Award, Alumni Award. I had left uni now for a while because I had finished uni in 2018, and I didn't know someone somewhere was looking out to see who is an alumni doing something out there. And someone picked up on my job and picked up on the work that I was doing in the community and the work that I've been doing here on Inspire YG. And I got nominated for that award, and I received it in the mail because there was supposed to be an event that was cancelled because of COVID. So I appreciate ACU, Australian Catholic University, so much for being there for me throughout this journey. Australian Catholic University are definitely part of my success story in this country. 2022, which is last year, this deserves a clap. I received permanent residency in Australia. So this was one of the most amazing days of my life, because obviously coming to Australia 2013, I don't think this was the outcome I had in mind. It was not something that I looked forward to because I didn't even know of its possibility. However, I think it's one of those things that God had in store for me. And I felt like I was created, born in Kenya, but God knew that I would have my life in two different countries. And so getting permanent residency in Australia meant that Australia is my second home. And it is such a blessing that I really cannot take for granted. I cannot take lightly at all. Kenya gave me life Kenya has my ancestors, Kenya has my family, Kenya has my parents, Kenya has everything that I was growing up. And then Australia has actually actualized all my dreams, has made all my dreams come true, my adult dreams come true. And so both countries definitely are my family, and I really value how I feel at home here, because it's the same way I feel at home in Kenya. 2022, last year, is also the year that I got my dream job, and I'm calling it a dream job because that's exactly what it is. I have the best managers, I have the best team, best colleagues. Ooh, I feel like crying. I love my job, I love what I do. So the job that I do is just so fulfilling to my heart. I come home every day feeling like, oh my God, I'm doing something for the wider humanity. I'm so grateful for that, and I'm really grateful for the future because of this job. And it's a job that I've always dreamt of, especially specifically where it's situated. I've always wanted to work in this particular hospital. And so I'm just honored. It's such an honor. I have no idea, guys. And 2022 April? No, yeah. So 2022, that's happened. 2023 is where we are at today. What do I say? That has been me talking about every lesson that I've learned in the last 10 years that I've been in this country, and just being grateful for every one of them. 2023 has been one of the major blessings as well, because I'm a fiance. I got engaged in April this year. So somebody somewhere looked at me and thought, you look like somebody would want to spend the rest of their life with. I mean, if that's not an honor, what is? So yeah, so that happened, and I'm so much appreciative of my partner, the blessing that he is, and he's just God sent. You are just God sent. So I am just so honored and looking forward to see what this year brings, because it's still young. We're still 6 months. We're still we have 6 months to go. So let's see what comes up within those 6 months. But I'm really, really grateful. I have been very, very grateful about the journey. It has not been easy. Like you can imagine, it has been a challenge, and thank you so much for everybody who's walked through this journey with me. I really cannot take it for granted. Can you imagine? You believed in me, and now I'm here. But I had to believe in myself too. Trust me, it wasn't easy. However, if I can do it, you can do it. Honestly, you can do it. So one of the last things that I'm going to mention that has been something that I've wanted to overcome was perfectionism. So I've done a bit of research on a lot of things, the Virgos and all those kind of things. I'm born in August. I'm born this month. I'm really excited about this month because I'm born. I like getting older. I like the feeling of getting older, the idea of learning more, and knowing who I'm going to become. Those kind of things excite me. I don't have regrets about the years that have passed. I enjoy every one of them as it comes, and I look forward to the new one coming up. So perfectionism and the idea of imposter syndrome, which is that feeling that you don't deserve things that you do have, or things that you do know, have had literally became an albatross that prevented me to achieve a lot of things, and including consistency, like even with this channel. It's just that perfectionism, wanting to make everything perfect, wanting not to come here if I'm feeling like my life is in shambles. And what is life really? It's those ups and downs, it's those challenges, and it's not always easy. Yeah, because I don't know how to put a mask on. Really what you see is what you get. But that has been one of my biggest challenge to be able to achieve everything I've achieved. Yes, I have achieved all that, and more even coming up, and I believe that. However, it's not without a challenge. So I'll talk about some of in conclusion, I'll talk about the people that I thought were my mentors. Now, honestly, I wouldn't be here if it were not for God, and I cannot mention that. I can't say that enough. I can't stress that enough. God has been the anchor. He has been the finisher. The start and the end of my journey is Him. And I wouldn't be here without Him. Trust you me. So I'm really, really grateful to God. My parents, I wouldn't be here without them, clearly, literally. And yeah, I really am grateful for believing in me. My mom has always been there for me. My parents have been there, supported me, and couldn't be here without them. Now, I've been over the years and been listening to these people, and like you know, I love books. If you can see behind me, I definitely, it goes without saying that Michelle Obama would definitely be one of those people that I would definitely say has been my mentor. And the thing is, mentors can be, you might not always have access to them because obviously distance and obviously you really cannot reach out to these kind of people. However, you can get to know and spend time with them and learn from their life experiences through reading. And that is, and I mean, nowadays we do have YouTube, we do have podcasts, we do have things that you can watch on Spotify, books that you can read. You can get mentors from anywhere. And so Michelle Obama is one of those. Jim Rohn, I'll put a picture of Jim Rohn here and his name. Please look out for his work on YouTube. He's just an amazing motivational speaker, and he really lived up. You know, I don't know how I can say, because he's no longer here with us, rest in peace. However, that man was really a genius, like, for lack of a better word, smart all around. Learned so much from Brené Brown. I love me some Brené Brown. So I'll put a link here on Brené Brown, and you can look at more of his articles, more of his books. I've got Brené Brown everywhere on my shelf here. Got some of her books around here. I really love me some Brené Brown. Obviously a social worker by profession, a researcher, very, very, very funny. I love her humor. She's just an amazing Texan woman. So please look at her work. She's done a video on, you know, she obviously talks about being a shame researcher, but she's done a couple of videos that have gone viral on YouTube, video on vulnerability. You know, she's talked about everything. Like, I mean, I'll do a video next and I'll talk about that. However, please look at her work. I've really loved listening, and I still haven't gotten to get his books, but I will. He's called Gabor Mate. Gabor Mate is obviously a physician, a doctor, who is really, really smart and doing a lot of work in the mental health space. And on to my last one, just want to speak about music. I've loved music, but over the years, the people whose music have really touched me is obviously CeCe and BeBe Winans. And I don't know where I would have been without those two. CeCe and BeBe Winans have, obviously their music have taken me through, I can't even say, yeah, through hills and valleys. Anyway, that's all for me today. I really wanted to share that because I feel like that has been my journey. And if one day my grandchildren ever get to see if YouTube is going to be here in the next couple of years, my grandchildren come to watch my YouTube channel, they're going to know that their grandma was really really, you know, she was not joking with life. She really was out there kicking goals, and I mean, really, I want to inspire my future generation. I really want to leave a legacy for my future generation, and legacy for the kids out there, legacy for young women growing up. I mean, don't put limitations on yourself. It's only you who can limit who you can become. Whatever you put in your mind, and whatever you speak out, whatever you think, and whatever you speak out is actually what comes right back to you. If whatever you want to achieve, please go for it. I'm not speaking fallacy. I'm not really like just, I'm talking, I'm walking, I'm talking the walk because I walk the talk. I really do mean it. You can do anything that you set your mind to do. And if you can think it, you can be it. All right? So thank you so much for popping in. Thank you for watching this video. And if you know anybody, young person out there who has dreams, big dreams that are scary, but they still don't know whether they should go ahead with them, please share this video with them. Share this video with them, because I'm just a young kid who grew up in rural Kenya, a place called Igegania. Igegania, really. Meaning wonders. And here we are. We've actually seen a lot of wonders. But just to say that you can go anywhere you set your mind to go, and don't give up. It doesn't matter how many people put you down. It doesn't matter how many messages of do not believe in yourself you receive from the world. Whatever you believe in whatever you believe within yourself is what will always prevail. And always stay positive. I think you can never go wrong with being positive. So thank you so much for popping in. I can go on and on and on and on, but I won't. I want to head out, and thank you so much for popping in. So please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Hit the subscribe button, also hit the bell so that you can be notified every time I drop a new video, because I'm back. And share this video with your networks, share it with your friends, with your family, and also you can follow me on Facebook. Here it is, InspireYG. Follow me on Instagram, InspireYG. And also, I'm not gonna forget to talk about my Hakiki Foundation. Here is a link. I'll leave the link in the description box. And you can watch the video that I did on Hakiki is right here. If you would like to support the work that I'm doing with kids and girls, young girls in Kenya, please feel free to donate through the website, and we'll link up from there. And you can reach me through any of all those platforms. Feel free to comment down below, please, and share with me what you think about that journey and what you've learned throughout your journey as an international student, or as a teacher, or whatever it is, whatever journey it is that you're on, because it's yours. Thank you so much. Have a good one. God bless. Love you. Bye.